Hi and welcome to this week's Walk for Rich from True Way Kids, where each week we provide free printable Bible lessons for you to use and to teach your under fives God's Word. So can I encourage you to, if you haven't already done so, head over to the website at truewaykids.com and there you can download this week's lesson and follow along. So once you print off this week's lesson or look at it on your computer or your device, you'll see on the front cover here is the picture of Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego as they're in the fiery furnace, with God protect them from the flames. As we open up in the lesson, we'll find on the front page of the lesson, the introduction. And there's covering some of the main points that we're going to look at this week and some ways we can deliver these lessons to our children. So the first one is that we should take a stand for God. So looking at Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego, we're actually starting at the beginning of the book of Daniel. And we're going to look at when they were offered the food which they considered defiled, they refused to eat it and chose only to eat vegetables. Now we're going to see how when everybody was called to worship the idol, they refused to bow down to an idol, knowing that they should only stand for God. They knew that sometimes when they took a stand there would be consequences, that people would judge them badly, but they were willing to sacrifice everything to obey God. And we're going to look at ways which we can do that and what it means to our life. Then we're going to look at how God is with us in difficult situations, and finally how God helps us through difficult situations. And there you'll see in the notes many different ways which we can deliver that to our children in an age appropriate way, which they can apply some activities and ways which we can encourage them to show that some things we can't get through by ourselves, but God can get us through it, that nothing is impossible for Him. So that's the main notes of this week's lesson. I hope that you find them useful as you teach this lesson to your children. And as you do on the front, the next two pages, you'll see is the Bible story. This is done in such a way, make sure like it's printed on such a way so it's page 1, 4, 2 and 3. All you need to do is put them together like so and fold them in half, and they can make a simple book. You can use this as a lesson review. You can use this as take-home sheets if you're doing a lesson in church. Children can read again with the parents at home. You can use them as a bedtime story, or simply to cut out the pictures and ask your child to reorder them in the correct order. So it will look something like this. There they are. Daniel with Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego there called into a temple. You see Shadrach and Meshach were refusing to bow down to the gold statue in front of a fiery furnace before they're thrown in. Then finally on the back pages there, like God protects them from the flames. They come out fine, not even smelling of smoke. And that really brings us on to the games and activities we're going to look at this week. So this is a list of some games and activities you can do to apply this lesson. The first one is called Guess the Smell. This is a very simple idea. Either you can blindfold your child or the children, or you can put something in little cups and cover it with some kitchen paper, make a little hole in the paper so they can't see what the object is inside. Then the idea is just that they will smell the object and guess what's in. There's some simple ones you can use, such as some herbs, mints, toothpaste even, maybe oranges or orange juice. These are all strong smelling smells that your child should recognize. It's a fun game, and I'm sure you'll be amazed at how well they guess many of the objects. Next one is to make a fruit salad. So the idea is to make a fruit salad with your child and ask them to help you to peel a banana, peel the orange. And you can talk about why the peel is there, and the peel is there obviously to protect the fruit. We talk about how God protects us from all situations, from things externally. And finally, musical statues. That's the game. It's a classic party game for the ages. As the music plays, when the music stops, the children must freeze. You can make it more fun by not just having them dance. Say, when the music plays, now you act like a chicken, or now you dance like a robot, or whatever, to make it fun that way. But when it stops, they must freeze. If they move, they're out. Refer it to how Nebuchadnezzar made the rule that when the music played, it's also almost the opposite. When the music played, let them worship the idol. But Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego refused to do so. That brings us on to this week's worksheet, and one of the ones is you're hot or cold. So the fiery furnace was really hot. We know that it was far hotter than anything which we can really imagine. So the idea of this game is just that they draw red circles around the hot things, for example the fire and the hot coffee, and they would draw blue circles around the cold things, for example the ice and the ice lolly or the ice creams. Next worksheet is a writing practice one. You see Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego's names here, and there's letters showing how you write these letters, and then you can trace around the lines below to fill them in. This will help with handwriting practice as well as recognizing their names. So in the palace at the beginning, remember Daniel 1, they refused to eat any of the defiled foods for the king and only chose to eat vegetables. So on this page is to colour in the vegetables. So there's some outlines of different types of vegetables and different types of foods such as chicken, hamburgers and so on, donuts. They would colour in only the vegetables, so the broccoli, the mushroom and so on. You can be a bit flexible with what is the vegetable. For example, the mushrooms and the tomatoes I would count as vegetables personally, but feel free to do what works for you and your family. The final worksheet here is to spot the difference. There they are in the fire, and there's 5 things which are different that you need to find. This week's craft is a nice easy one. Again, there's a free template in the lesson which you can print off. I recommend printing this onto a thick card for the best results. When you do so, it will look something like this. So it's very easy to make and create. You have an example which one that Timothy made, and you see Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego. You colour it in, and I'm colouring the fiery furnace. Once you do so, there's a place where you glue these characters on, and you just fold it up, and you can leave it like this all coloured in, or you can add tissue paper to make it look like flames. All you need to do is glue it down into place and glue it on all around you, and it will look like fire around them, and this will make it more 3D. But you have 2 options. You can just colour it in if that's the easier option for you, or you can put on tissue paper to make extra flames. Once you cancel is a couple of colouring pages or alternatives to the craft if they work better for your setting. There they are again, Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego in the fiery furnace. And what I've also done is somebody gave me a recommendation this week following up from the Esther lesson with the characters there. So it'd be useful to have colouring pages of each character with the names, so the children in the Sunday school class could act out the story. So one person be that character and hold it up when the name was mentioned. So I've done that this week. So here we have Shadrach. So again, they colour it in, hold it up. But you could also use this to teach a lesson, that the child would hold it in front of them to represent Shadrach. Another one for Meshach, and then the final one on this page for Abednego. So again, they can be colouring sheets, so you can use them for the lesson. And on the final page is the worship songs, the prayer idea, and then next week's preview, which we're looking at Daniel and the Lion's Den together. So this week is a couple of songs you can sing along. On the front page and on the park page, the QR code, these will all take you to a video playlist showing some video animations on YouTube of this week's account of Daniel and Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego, which you may find useful to review with your children, as well as these worship songs which you can sing together. Well, I really hope that you have a great week exploring this passage, that your children really learn from Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego and apply his truths to their life, that they will take a stand for God and realise that God can protect them in any situation. And then we'll see you again next week as we look at Daniel and the Lion's Den together. Well, may God bless you, and we'll see you again next week. Have a great week. God bless.
I like